approach cross-functional team leadership to ensure successful collaboration and execution?
To create a successful collaboration between teams, I think you need to start with establishing trust. I think for me, trust is the foundation of great teams, and being able to have folks follow your ideas. But at the same time, you have to be open to follow ideas from others. So you need to have.
So how do you manage profit and loss to ensure profitability while still putting a priority to customer experience and employee satisfaction?
Yes. So managing a business it's a lot like managing your personal life, right? So you need to be healthy, and you need to work out, and you need to have good relationship with your parents, and you need to have friends, and you need to have time to rest, and there's a time to work. So I think managing a business, I compare it because
we know that companies' value, mission, goals are very important. So how do you manage the relationship vendors to ensure that they align with your company values, goals, or mission? Hello, Andres. How are you?
Great, Priya. Thank you.
First of all, thank you so much for taking out your precious time.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you for the invite.
My pleasure. So, Andres, could you please tell more about yourself to the audience?
Yeah, absolutely, Priya. So I was born and raised in South America, in Colombia, and I did my studies over there, and been living in the United States for the last 25 years. I've been fortunate enough to work in different industries, starting with travel and tourism, hospitality, human resources, banking, call centers, and last but not least, healthcare. In a realm of different positions, managing strategy, managing up to 300 employees, and sometimes just being a self-contributor. So a really wide range of roles, and I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, thank you so much. You have a lot of experiences into different roles, and I am sure these experiences and insights going to help our listeners.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, so could you please tell us about a time when you successfully implemented a business transformation strategy?
Yeah, absolutely. So several times in my past, but one that comes to mind was right before COVID. I've always had ideas of improving efficiencies and saving costs at every company that I work for. And, I always had ideas when I started this role about working remotely and, saving on costs when it comes to rent and utilities and other things. And at the beginning, some of these ideas were not very welcome. But when COVID hit the United States in 2020, a lot of these ideas started taking more traction, and we were able to implement processes and strategies within 2 or 3 months to make close to 100 employees start working remotely. And I led this project with several of my other coworkers, working remote successfully. And to this day, 3 years later, we're still working remote, and it's still been a great accomplishment to have employees working virtually anywhere. It has given the possibility to also hire folks from different areas. Now, so there's tremendous success from the hire and recruiting process, also from saving costs on our bottom line.
Great. COVID was the time when people were losing this confidence, jobs, and each and everything. But at that time, also you came out so strongly and recommended the ideas. I think that's a great thing.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, how do you approach cross-functional team leadership to ensure successful collaboration and execution?
Yes. So, collaboration, execution. So, I think to create a successful collaboration between teams, I think you need to start with establishing trust. I think for me, trust is the foundation of great teams, and being able to have folks follow your ideas. But at the same time, you have to be open to follow ideas from others. So you need to have great communication, being able to involve stakeholders in the decision making, ask great questions, listen to input from others, but at the same time, implement some of that input. I think when people know that their voice is being heard and their ideas are being implemented, I think they're more open to collaborating and they're more open to trusting, and they're going to be more vested in the final outcome.
Yes, true. Here you highlight the very important fact, the collaboration from both the sides, the respect from both the sides, which is very important to run any business.
Yes.
Yeah. So you are into a
Yes.
lot of roles. You are like a very successful businessman. So could you please share any example of where you have coached and developed a high performing executive team?
Yes, thank you. So when I was in banking for the last 3 years, I was able to have a team of managers. They were very highly successful. And I think how we accomplished this was, several things took place, right? We hired the right people. We developed trust, as we spoke on the previous question. We were able to have constant meetings where trust was developed among the players. We developed a culture of accountability where leaders were holding each other accountable. In some companies, it's difficult when you're not the supervisor for that person, but we develop a culture where anyone can hold anyone accountable if it was for the right reason. We had a lot of friendly competition between teams and about different areas to make sure that we were not just being competitive, but also doing it in a fun way. And, in the spirit of doing things in a fun way, we also had a lot of positive rewards. So we will reward employees for little things that they did great. Instead of focusing on, catching them doing something bad, we were trying to catch them doing something good and rewarding positive behaviors. As far as knowledge goes, we had a different months. We had the kind of like a flavor of the month theme, where every month we will reinforce a concept or a customer or a rule, a procedure. It doesn't matter what it was, but every month we were reinforcing something new in the environment. And sometimes it wasn't something new. Sometimes it was just a policy or a procedure that we needed to follow. So this gave employees, after a few months or in time, a really good understanding of policies, procedures, knowledge around customers, knowledge around the system. So I think it really is a combination of a lot of different things. To answer your question, is having the right people, is having people who trust each other, people who hold each other accountable, people who are pushing each other to be better, where there is friendly competition and everybody wants the team to be successful and not just looking out for success individually.
Yes, true. Yeah, that's very true that, again, again, you are highlighting the very important aspect of relationship between the employees, like respect, trust, and all. So is there any situation where you face the thing that where the employees or the good relationship is not going on, and how you tackle it?
So whenever you mean relationship between employees or with employees and management?
Employees and management.
So yes, I've had situations like that in the past when employees are not following rules. I think a lot of times it boils down to trust, right? I
Yes.
think sometimes employees think they are more knowledgeable than their supervisor and they know better. So they're not just going to follow what they're saying because, there is no trust in that leadership. So that's why it's important for leaders to be knowledgeable. It's important for leaders to know the job that they're teaching from A to Z, and to really make sure that they're transmitting that knowledge and that trust down to the employees, and really building the relationships. Right? It's not about who knows more. Right? We can have employees who are more knowledgeable than the managers, and that's okay. But it's about following a vision, right? Following a strategy that we have implemented, and the manager is there to facilitate that strategy as a team. And how are we going to get there? So I think it really starts with trust and having good communication with that employee so that he understands that that person is knowledgeable and that their expertise is really valued.
Yes, true. Yes. So how do you manage profit and loss to ensure profitability while still putting a priority to customer experience and employee satisfaction?
Yes. So managing a business it's a lot like managing your personal life, right? So you need to be healthy and you need to work out and you need to have good relationship with your parents and then you need to have friends and you need to have time to rest and there's a time to work. So I think managing a business, I compare it because I think it's similar. I think you can't focus on one area too
Yes.
heavily because the other areas could get impacted. I think you need to, watch your P&L and your bottom line, but the customer experience is it's critical. Your employee experience is very critical, and at the end of the day, I think you need to put everything in a balance. And how I've done that in the past is really making sure that I surround myself with uh, top performers, people who are experts in different areas, and people's, like I mentioned earlier, they're going to hold each other accountable, right? So you have your finance folks who are really making sure that we hit our goals and your bottom line, and you have your people and culture people making sure that employee experience is the best. You have your account managers and sales people making sure that the customer experience is top notch. And then we have to meet and integrate all those areas to make sure that we're synchronized and that we're really following the same vision and the same strategy, because at the end of the day, we all need to, everything we do, even though it's in a specific area of the company, has to be contributing to that final vision or goal that we have established.
Yes, true. So, could you please tell about any successful startup or the industries you have worked with, or how you contributed to its success?
Yes, so like I mentioned earlier, I work in several industries, but one of my bucket list items that I've always had was to always have my own business. So a few years back, I had the opportunity to start my own business, and it was an amazing experience. I truly recommend for anyone out there to, start their own business, even if you do it once in your lifetime, because it's really a very rewarding experience. And you have to be careful of what you wish for, right? A lot of people think, oh, having your own business must be great because you're the boss and you can
Mm-hmm.
set the rules, which is true. But at the same time, you really get to think a lot on your feet and to really have to make a lot of decisions, to work with no or minimum guidance, to really set the rules yourself. It sounds like a great thing, but it can be challenging when you don't have previous experience in a certain industry. But it's a great experience because you get to wear many hats, you get to improvise, you get to become very creative and find solutions for challenges. So I think it's having your own business and being an entrepreneur. It's probably not for everyone, but I think a lot of times you won't know if it's for you unless you try it.
Yes, true. So, like we know that companies' value, mission, goals are very important. So, how do you manage the relationship vendors to ensure that they align with your company values, goals, or mission?
Staying close to them. I think you have to stay close to vendors and customers and make sure that your vision is aligned, that your vision is shared. Understand how they're implementing that vision. Having meetings frequently, not just virtual but also in person. Go in there, see how they're working, talk to their employees, talk to their managers and supervisors. I think it's important to many times treat vendors as just an extension of your company, just another department that you manage. And you have to just, stay, close to them, have great communication. If you do a training or a new development internally, the vendor should be aware of that, because if you want them to have the same results that you are having internally and be aligned with your vision, they need to have the same tools to be successful.
True. So I can see that you have a lot of passion and determination in all these business things. So what is your motivation, or is there anyone who influence your life, or who motivates you, or what are you like driven by? Relationship, work, money?
For me, I think it's family, right? I think I came to the United States looking for the American dream, and I think I've been exploring every opportunity that comes in front of me, and I put 110% on anything that I do, because I want to, live the dream and accomplish everything that maybe was more difficult to accomplish in my home country. So I really appreciate. I'm very grateful for every opportunity, and even when I get involved in things that are not of my scope and things that are new and things that are challenging and things that I've never done before, I always, put in the best smile and just jump on it.
Wow, that's great. So, Andres, like highlight a very important thing here, live your dream. Yeah, that's a very important factor so that we don't hold the regrets later on. Yes. So, that's all from my side. Do you want to put anything into this podcast, or want to ask anything from me?
No, Priya, thank you so much for the opportunity. It's been great talking to you. And, you are also a big inspiration at your age of everything that you have accomplished in your life. So, I hope we can continue to inspire new generations.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Priya.